Hello, hello. Oh, how are you all this evening, or this morning, or this afternoon, wherever you are? Honestly, I'm not feeling so well myself. Oh dear. I had a bit of a brutal night, to be honest. I think I had maybe 4 hours sleep at most. Oh, hello. Yes, hello. It's lovely to see you again. Thank you so much for coming. Yes, maybe 4 hours sleep. I know that's an awful lot more than many people get to enjoy, so I shouldn't complain. But sometimes it's a little hard not to. I had an awful headache start a little while ago. I've taken painkillers, but too recently for them to have had any effect as of yet. I'll let you know when they kick in, maybe. Oh dear. Let's go over here. That's rough. Thank you for the sympathy. It is very appreciated. As I said, yeah. Guess I'm lucky to get even that sleep compared to what some people go through these days, or any days for that matter. Oh, painkillers. I took them, yes, but it would have been far more sensible probably to take them as soon as the headache started, but I'm not even sure I noticed when it started. I'm not particularly in tune with my body. I don't think I ever have been. I think it's gotten particularly worse over the last few years. Sometimes it's like my brain and my body speak a completely different language. Either that or my brain is just super distractible and slow and scatty, and that sounds about right, really. Oh dear. Let's get into it. So, it's me again, Blue Moony, fantasy writer and shy magical library in human skin. So, this is my second live stream after yesterday's. So, about the first stream, it definitely could have gone worse. I think I was expecting it to go an awful lot worse than it did. I think I'm more nervous today than I was yesterday. Maybe it's just because I don't feel particularly well, but I think a contributor to not feeling particularly well at the moment is that today's the first day I have to actually attempt something resembling writing. And I'm a little anxious about that. I'll get used to it quickly. If I don't, I'll be in trouble. Oh. Just in relation to the first stream, though, I'm a little concerned I wasn't particularly coherent most of the time. That's something to work on into the future, and I'm sure it would serve me well in general life as well. Coherence. It's a useful thing. Oh, but after yesterday's stream finished, I think I had some adrenaline jitters going for a little while. It took a while to settle down and try to set up for today's stream and just write a couple of social media posts. It often takes me a long time to write social media posts anyway, because remember, perfectionist. Everything has to be just right. It can be a little infuriating sometimes, but it's just the way things are. At least once you'll get started, you'll pick up the pace and it'll be easier, hopefully. I hope so too. With any luck, practice might not make perfect, but practice will definitely help. Nothing's perfect anyway. It's a ridiculous thing to strive for, so let's not do that. Let's not do that to ourselves. Let's just keep moving forward. Oh dear. Oh, semi-related news. My ridiculously long LAN cable is no longer tangled all over the floor. My halls are now decked with it. It is strung majestically throughout my home like holiday decorations. Hooray! Not sure that'll help avoid any connection difficulties like the ones we experienced yesterday, but at least I won't be tripping over it anymore. So that has to count for something. Oh dear. I am sorry, I really don't feel very well. Oh, I'm sorry. Most days when I do feel like this, I just completely write off the idea of writing. But I'm so tired all the time, and I doubt that's going to change anytime soon. And I can't keep letting tiredness stop me from getting things done that I want to do. So we'll push on today, we'll do our best. Hopefully we'll at least get a little bit of a plan down. If we don't quite finish it, I hope you don't mind if I go ahead and try to finish it off if I find some time tomorrow. I can definitely take you through the rest at the beginning of tomorrow's stream. Yes, I'd be a little disappointed because I did want everything to do with the planning and the writing to happen on stream, but I suppose I've done some minor planning anyway, so I'll try not to worry about it. Better to just get it done wherever I can, so that when it comes to writing, it's there to work with, and I won't be panicking quite as badly. Okay, so the general plan for the stream today is to make a very rough outline of the whole story, and then, if we're able to, divide things up into chapters. Take your time, your well-being comes first. Thank you. Thank you. I know it does, it's just difficult to remember sometimes when, it just gets... I feel more and more that I'm running out of time, given it takes me so long to do everything and anything. And I don't want to run out of time, and that makes me forget self-care a little bit now and then. Thank you for reminding me. I'll do my best. Speaking of self-care, let's just have a quick drink of water. Yes, I know we've hardly started, but my voice has already taken a minor beating today. The small one wanted to play at being Bluey characters, so she was Bingo and I was Bandit. And his voice, I can make a rough approximation of it, but it is a little it's a lot on the throat. Not as bad as Grandma Healer's voice. Not as bad as Grandma Healer, but Bandit still takes a toll on the vocal cords. Okay, where were we? Outline. Dividing things into chapters. So yes, as you know, I'm not working completely from scratch. If you watched yesterday's stream, you'll have a kind of idea of the story that we're going to be attempting. So it's a YA fantasy dystopia about a pair of siblings, one who is overrun by fate particles that condemn him to having a huge impact on the world one day, and the other sibling's body is a literal fate-eating machine. But yes, the concept is one thing. We have to turn it into something readable, and preferably, I can speak, preferably a good story, or at least one that's a good time to read. That's the goal. Yes, I don't want anyone to be trudging through anything that's difficult or boring to read. If I ever come across anything like that when I'm reading, generally I think it's better to stop and read something you actually like, and it's actually Well, if something's challenging to read, it's okay if, you know, the plot or the concept or the genre can be a bit challenging, but if the prose, if the writing itself is challenging to read, that's a lot to deal with. I think it's those sort of things that sometimes make people not enjoy reading, and we want to enjoy reading. We want everyone to love reading. I actually don't read as much as many others who love to read. I used to read all the time. I used to just devour things. And it's not great that I haven't been reading much these days. You need to write as much as you can, and you need to read as much as you can to be a good writer. But yes, for a while it was inferiority reasons. It's not so much of a problem now, but for years I could barely even set foot in a bookshop. I'd be overrun with negativity, which is an awful thing. It's no other author's problem or fault that I haven't reached where I want it to be yet. But yes, I can go into bookshops now. That's fine. I've managed to disconnect myself? How many of me are there in here? Disconnect myself from others' success, mostly. Now my reading difficulties are mostly related to energy, sadly. Things like reading and gaming are very, very active, as opposed to watching TV and movies, so it takes an awful lot less energy to watch TVs and movies and YouTube, so that's what I tend to do more to relax. There's still a little bit of the inferiority issues. So when I read, I want to read things that are fun and in my genre, but I don't want to be intimidated by them. That's a bit of a hard criteria to fill, and pretty selfish and silly too, perhaps. I have read a bunch of things lately that are really good. But I've also read some things I thought would be really, really good. I looked up a few book talk books. I'm not into the book talk scene, but I was hoping I could trust a few of their recommendations at least. But I didn't really enjoy those ones. Some of them I didn't even think they were written particularly well. Please no one hurt me. Please no one hurt me. I'm not going to mention any titles or writers. Not just because I don't want to get hurt, but as a writer myself, I think that's not really the best thing to do. Yes, I don't really like leaving book reviews because of that. I only really leave a review if I have 3 stars or more, and then I don't leave anything written, just the stars. I worry that, even though it's just a personal opinion as a reader, that because I am a writer, that other people might think I'm trying to tear down another writer or something like that, which is nothing I'd ever want to do. It's the last thing I'd want to do. So I think for now I'll just stick to leaving 3 stars or more if I enjoy it. If I don't enjoy it, I just won't leave anything at all. Generally, I'm a fairly good audience when it comes to reading. I enjoy just about everything in the genres I read, so long as it's well written. I'm more generous to indie authors because they don't, have the full editorial team at their backs. But I've read a few traditionally published things lately that I, incorrectly assumed were indie and without proper editors, but no, they were traditionally published. So maybe they need to pay their editors more sometimes. This isn't every traditional published book, far from it, just very few that I've come across lately. Oh, I'm off on tangents. Never got to read much Tom Sawyer and Garden of Prophet come to mind, but it was mostly science books. Science books. I remember buying all of the science textbooks when I was studying that, but then the classes never actually used them or barely even referred to them. I still have them though. I consider now and then having a flip through. Haven't yet. I should. It'd probably be useful for writing to have a more science mind that I could just pull on when I need to, as opposed to spending so much time researching. Oh dear, where am I? Where am I? Oh dear. Yes, maybe because when I read it has to be quite well written, otherwise I have difficulties. That might be why I haven't really gotten hugely into reading many Wattpad or Inkit stories. Yeah, I can't handle being messed around by poor sentence structure and such. It really messes with my head. And there's just so many stories out there on these platforms. I imagine they're completely loaded with wonderful ones, but they're just difficult to find. Oh, and I definitely don't want to take away from anyone who writes for fun or as an outlet. You've got to do that if you've got to do that. Writing is so good for you, and writing is the only way you get better at writing, and there's definitely people who will love whatever you write. Whatever you do will be right up someone's alley. It's just the way I personally am structured. If it's hard to read because of grammar or things like that, usually I won't read it. I hope I don't sound like a horrific snob. I'm so sorry if I do. Oh dear. Yes, off track. Off track. Outline. We should outline. Dear. Maybe I'm procrastinating. Oh, I've got to start writing live eventually. Let's keep working our way towards it. So yes, I was thinking about starting with trying to write a synopsis, but I really don't like synopses. Oh, they were the bane of my existence the short time I was trying to query agents. They're stressful. I think it might slow me down. So let's just stick to trying to make a bullet-pointed list of major events. And then we'll see how we go dividing things up into chapters, if we can. As much as we can anyway. At least the first part. I think I could handle it for the first part, chapter by chapter. I might need to... we'll see how we go. If I need to do the rest, part 2 and part 3, on my own, please forgive me. Oh, have I talked about the parts yet? Probably not. Sorry about that. We'll get to it. Get to it soon. So yes, chapter by chapter. It might be a little bit difficult because I've decided to do swapping points of view, chapter by chapter, between main girl and little bro. The reason I decided to do that, it's probably because I chose to go down that path with another standalone novel that I started planning this year. I decided not to use that one for NaNoWriMo early on because that one is set in the present world as it is, and that just seems to take an awful lot more effort for me. For me, it's easier to go full on another world. I mean, even this world far in the future would be doable, but present world I find quite difficult to write. So I do like that story idea a lot, so I'll go back to it eventually. Hopefully, maybe even in the next year or two. It is lovely. It is lovely. Big-headed of me, but I enjoy thinking about this story. It makes me happy. Okay, so yes, chapter by chapter. I tend to write very linearly, as in taking a character all the way from point A to point B and not really jumping between events much. As in, I describe everything that happens between point A and point B. Hopefully not in a boring way, hopefully in a way that expands the world and gets to know the characters better. But things just naturally really stretch out when I do that. By swapping points of view every character. Swapping points of view every character? Swapping points of view every chapter. Every chapter. It forces me to jump events instead of strolling through them, so hopefully that will help with the word count, keeping it down a bit. Oh dear. Anyway, so we'll do our best trying to get events into chapters, but you know, if we run into trouble, I might just have to try to do a bit by myself. We'll see. Even writing the novel in November, I doubt I'm going to get much further than halfway through, given that'll be 50,000 words will probably be roughly halfway through the story anyway. I'd like to try to aim for 3/4 through, but that might be pushing it. Writing about the past and the future is easier as they have their own special atmosphere, while current times are kind of a mess. You make a wonderful point there. You make a wonderful point. Also, when you're making up less, it also involves so much more research and time. And for that story I was talking about, I think I'll have to contact a scholar in ancient Celtic languages. And so I'd have to work up the courage to contact a random professor in Wales or something. Maybe the people from the future will have an easier time describing this century. Perhaps. Most likely, yes. Oh dear. Okay, where are we? Yes, after the outline, once we get to it. Oh goodness me, we've already been going for a while, haven't we? I'm so sorry, haven't even started outlining yet. Anyway, we probably won't get to this, but if we do, I'll try to generate a language if we have time. So I haven't decided yet if this dystopian world is our world in the future or the dystopian future world of another world very similar to ours. I'm leaning towards the latter because it's harder to create a language for a dystopian world descended from ours. It's harder to amalgamate languages that already exist and try to change them up enough so it sounds like the language has developed over thousands of years of dystopia. You know, like, say English and Spanish and Mandarin became the predominant languages in this dystopian world and they all melded together over a few thousand years. I wouldn't really know how to create that. It's easier to grab a bunch of phonemes and rules and create something new. At least using the software that I use. I would have to base it off a language. I'll probably base it on. I'm not sure which the better word to use is there. Base it on English probably, but I'll throw a few more fun phonemes and rules in there. Again, if we don't get to that, we'll try to do that. Well, we'd have to do it at the beginning of tomorrow's stream so we're able to make character names. Yes, I don't like it when character names don't sound like they belong to the same language and culture. I find it off-putting and it harder to suspend disbelief and all that. But yes, we'll get to that. Okay, well, we'll get to that or we won't. If we don't get to it today, tomorrow. I'll try not to ramble on for quite so long tomorrow. Okay, let's play with some numbers. So, the aim for NaNoWriMo is 50,000 words in 30 days, but I think I said yesterday I'm not going to squash the whole story into 50,000 words. So, taking into account that it's a YA story, and it's a standalone story, and it's fantasy dystopia, I think giving us an upper limit of maybe 115,000 words pushing to 120 at the highest. At the absolute highest. That seems to be somewhat sensible and... is it fair to myself? We'll see. Yeah, I'll definitely reduce that if I can, but I think it's more likely we'll accidentally exceed that upper limit before the end. Okay, 115,000 words. I like to keep my chapters quite short and snappy where I can, so between 2,000 and 2,500 words, so let's go with 2,250 as an average. I've already done these calculations, so let's see. Gives us about 51.1 recurring chapters. Let's shift that down to 51. Yeah. 51, that would be okay. It's okay if we do wind up going more than that, because I think, if you're posting something online, the more chapters the better. Gives people more of a chance to comment, and more views. Already chasing views. Watch me go. Okay. So, yeah, if after planning we find we don't have enough material to fill 51 chapters, we're not going to force fill it. We can always come back here as we plan. And yeah, 51 chapters. As far as chapter numbers go, I think I'd prefer even numbers. I don't always prefer even numbers. If from book series, it's got to be odd numbers. Trilogies, quintets, pentologies, whatever they're called. What's 7? Septologies? I'm not sure I want to write any series longer than 7 books. The idea makes me dizzy and anxious. Duologies are fine. I quite like duologies, and standalones are fine. It's prime numbers. Books need to come in prime numbers to make me happy. Although I suppose at a pinch 10 wouldn't be so bad, but I am not going to write a book series with 10 books. It's too much. Someone smack me if I ever try to write something that's 10 books long. More tangents, and we're already so far in already. Okay, so the story's going to be divided roughly into 3 sections. I've always had a bit of trouble taking writing advice. I've never taken any creative writing classes, and snobbish reasons that I didn't want them to mess with my style. Although honestly, I think a bigger reason is if I took any creative writing classes and they said anything that I'm not, if they said anything I'm doing is bad, or they went into things that I've never done before, I'd instantly think the way I write is wrong, I'm wrong, I'll never do it right, and any self-esteem I've managed to cling to all these years will go straight down the toilet. If I didn't think like that, I'm sure creative writing classes would have been and still could be very helpful to me. Anyway, I haven't read about it much, but I've heard about, the 3-act structure for novels. I'm sure that's very, very basic. I've never consciously used it, but given I've read plenty of books that probably have, likely it's sneaked naturally into my writing style. Hopefully. This is the first time consciously trying to use it. So, 3 parts, 115,000 words, roughly 51 chapters. So, each part will be around 38,000 words or so, and around 17 chapters. So, maybe bring that down slightly to 35,000 words per chapter. Just to keep me happy and healthy, and that would make an upper word limit for the total book of 105. Between 105,000 words and 115,000 words. Somewhere in there. Let's keep going. Okay. I've rambled way too long already. I am sorry about that. I'll get more succinct as we go. Let's jump over here. Let's jump. Oh dear. Here we are, here we are. Let's go into the basic outline. Okay. This software, by the way, is Scrivener. This is Scrivener. I started using it after I won NaNoWriMo one year, and I used the winner's code to get the software more cheaply. I did enjoy using it. There's a few things I'm not quite so fond of, including how they're not really planning at this point on making an Android app. I wound up swapping to Google Docs for a while, which I regret a little bit. I've used up all my space. Now I mostly use a software called Atticus. It's a little simpler than Scrivener to use for me, and simple makes my brain happy. But I decided to try using Scrivener again for this project because hopefully it's a little more engaging to look at, and maybe I'll even finally figure out how to use it properly after all these years. Okay, time to stop procrastinating. Oh, I haven't looked at the notes I've taken for this story for a while. I've been too busy planning how to stream. Oh, I've got more of an idea for the first part. I know rough events for parts 2 and 3, but chapter by chapter is going to be a bit of a challenge. Oh dear, nerves ramping up. Water, water, no panicking allowed. Let's not panic. Let's not panic. I'm fine. I'm fine. Sorry. I'm so sorry. This is what I've been working up to. It's not even properly writing yet. Notepad is for me. Notepad. To sound lovely and simple. Happy brain chemicals from simplicity. Oh dear. Okay. So I'm gonna open up my notes over here. Sorry, I'm not showing these. I know it'll be full of spoilers anyway, because writing the whole story on stream, full of spoilers, surprise! But I'll just keep these notes for me, and let's just see how we go. So, very, very basic outline. So, I've got 2 siblings, main girl and little bro. Okay, so main girl has very low fate. Well, not very low fate. She has 0 fate. 0 fate. Yes. Routine measures of fate taken has been 0 her whole life. Poor thing. And she's starting to reach the age where fate is set. Fate is set. So clearly you can change your fate. You can change your fate. The way it is that kids are given until they're 22 to build up their fate. And you can build up fate mostly through things like education. You build up your fate through education. But when you reach 22, and so the proper routine measures are taken probably between, 12 and 22, probably. And if by 22 you still have ridiculously low fate, well, that's it. You're not going to have an impact on the world, sorry. Because the system, the government, prevents anyone from further raising their fate after they turn 22. This is not including those with ridiculously high fate. Those with ridiculously high fate are swept up in a wondrous. I cannot spell. I'm a writer and I cannot spell. How sad. I shouldn't worry about spelling right now. It just gives me a little gut punch every time that red squiggly line pops up. And we want to avoid any gut punches here. Wondrous world where they are... Oh, what's the word? Slathered. That's not the word I'm after. We want a pretty word. Showered, not slathered. Showered with riches, education, and fame, and eventual leader status. That sort of thing. Okay. This is less a rough outline of events and more just explaining how things are. This probably belongs more in world building, but I suppose it helps to have a general idea of what's going on. Okay, so main girl, 0 fate, and is approaching, so she's probably 18, and so 18 with very low fate, her future doesn't look good. And she has simple wants. Simple wants. I think she just wants to be a teacher. Main girl wants to be a teacher. But needless to say, there are no teachers with a fate level of 0. Probably need to be a fair bit higher to be allowed to be a teacher. So, not looking good. Main girl has been desperately trying to raise her fate for a long time. She still has, quiet, happy fantasies of maybe one day her fate exploding and her, becoming famous and happy. How lovely. She knows it's ridiculously unlikely and even impossible, but just, same sort of thing as having lotto winning dreams. But mostly she just wants to raise her fate enough to be able to become a teacher, but that doesn't look like it's happening. Little bro, I haven't thought quite so much about yet. Sorry, little bro. You'll get more. You'll get more when we do your character planning. Excuse me for a moment, sorry. Yes, so that's kind of where we are. And so this is going to sound a bit familiar and generic, but little bro, he's 12, therefore he's about there to have his first routine fate reading. About to have his first routine fate reading. One thing I do know about little bro, he's a fairly practical individual. He's not expecting anything particularly high, and nor do I think he wants anything particularly high. He would much prefer to stay here with his family because, yes, being swept away into a life of privilege does mean being swept away from your family and being forced to cut almost all ties with them. Because, little bro already has ridiculous high fate, so what else does he need? Yeah, I guess so. He does need a personality. He doesn't know at this point that he has the ridiculously high fate. That's That's going to set events into motion. Okay, so, yes. Sorry, I should be so much better at talking about my writing. It's just awful. I hope things are vaguely understandable. Let's just try to keep things simpler. Okay, so we'll have a few things leading up to it, of course, to introduce characters in the world, but the first big event is the routine fate reading for main girl and little bro, and pretty much everyone else in the city. Yes, in case you haven't worked out yet, there is a huge class gap between the people of very high fate and the people of lower fate. Within the lower fate area, there's still the gaps between people who have higher levels and lower levels, and that, you know, dictates how much education you're allowed to receive and, you know, what jobs you're allowed to have, neighborhoods you're allowed to live in. All of that lovely world. Would not like to live there. Fate particles sound terrible. I do not want them. So why am I doing this to my poor characters? Oh. Oh, when you eventually find out who my favourite character is, no, they're going to have to watch themselves. I am going to make life a living hell for them. Oh, not all writers are evil, I promise. We just seem to all feel the need to torment our favourites. Not main girl or little bro. They will, of course, receive their allocated torment levels, but there is another I have in mind who we have not met yet. I don't think he even properly comes in until part 2. I already adore him. He's in so much trouble. Okay, routine fate reading for main girl and little bro. Okay, so main girl, still 0. Yeah. Still 0. Yeah. Is disappointed but not surprised. Not so different from the reality we inhabit. Not so different at all. No. Dear. Except now, well, in this world at least, there's sort of scientific evidence for someone being worthless in the view of the world. Oh dear. That is depressing, isn't it? So this world just pretty much, you know, keeps people from being able to pursue any dreams unless you've got the high fate. But again, that sounds very sadly familiar to where we are. So hopefully it's at least relatable. Oh dear. Okay, disappointed but not surprised. Goes about day. Major event goes about day. Okay, so little bro does not come home from routine fate reading. Okay, so then try to find little bro, can't find him. Then they see him on TV. Ah, look at that. There he is. He is not happy to be on TV. He is very, very shy. So, not happy. Sees him on TV. Highest fate particle count. Oh, goodness me. Fate particle count. That's sounding kind of midi-chlorians-ish, isn't it? Oh, dear. Sorry, Star Wars. May I be inspired by your midi-chlorians. Please. Thank you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Highest fate particle count in the city. There's multiple cities. We're starting off in one. I don't think I want to go more than 5 or visit more than 3 of them. They are all reasonably similar. You know, I'll make a few small differences, but nothing major. All quite similar. Highest fate particle count in the city for, I haven't decided how long, so for some time. Enough time to be impressive. So yes, main girl, clearly mixed feelings. You know, I don't think she's jealous. I mean, possibly there'd be an initial spike of jealousy, but main girl doesn't really strike me as a jealous individual. I think it's more, you know, happy for her brother, but also knows that he's going to be terrified and very unhappy, and she doesn't want him to leave home. She loves her little bro. These siblings are very close. I haven't mentioned parents yet. Good reason, they're not there. This is a young adult dystopia, and of course there are no parents. They do have a grandparent, but at this point, grandparent does not have a major impact on the story, apart from, you know, how they shape the main characters. So we'll get more into the grandparent on character day. Okay, so next day, they come for main girl. Oh dear. Main girl does not know why. But interviews, questionings, testings. They're not saying anything that's going on, so she doesn't know. She has absolutely no idea what's going on. We'll swap to little bro at one point around here. So, in new and terrifying environment. So yeah, we'll just work with that through the chapters. Poor little bro. Getting used to his new world. Meeting new and exciting and reasonably terrible people. Little bro's not particularly academically inclined, but that's gonna have to change here, poor thing. So, yeah, lots of teachers. We'll get introduced to his new guardian, who is a wonderfully creepy and horrible individual. Probably won't be seeing too much of that at this point. Also, around this point, we're going to meet IB for Inside Boy. So he is the main... he probably had the highest fate particle count before little bro. He's a good kid, probably about 18 or so. And so IB is LV's sort of student mentor sort of thing. And IB, very big on this scene. Probably the favourite in general. On a lot of reality TV, these people, you know, they're the famous ones. All the people watch these shows. There's pretty much nothing else to watch. And, you know, not much else to do. And so a lot of people are very, very invested in Inside Boy. I kind of like the idea that main girl is a bit of a fan. Nothing huge, just enjoys his work. Okay, so all of this stuff going on. I don't want to go into too much detail right now talking about it, because, you know, how do I describe this? You know, being in the new world sort of is the major event, and there'll be sort of smaller things spread throughout. You know, meeting different people, learning new things, getting used to the environment. I don't think I really need to go into it too much. The more interesting. I'll make the parts with little brother interesting, but it's more world building and getting to know people sort of stuff, as opposed to major events that will affect the overall story. Okay, so back with main girl. Okay, so she finally gets told sort of what's going on, and she's told that her body eats fate. And so, you know, they're not going to let her go running around if her body is eating fate. So, they're going to keep her there, find out how she works. He's the golden boy and darling of the media. Pretty much, that's Inside Boy at the moment, and probably what they're hoping to shape Little Brother into eventually. So, one of the big things that all these high fate people, besides going on to become, the big scientists, the big artists, the big politicians, the big ones, the only ones, people in the lower cities. Lower city? I need better terms for these things. I'll think of more terms later. But, yes. My brain works. What was I saying? Golden Boy. Yes. One of the main things is, each city really, really hoping to one day take over all the other cities. So they are looking for the big chosen one, the one that will lead their city to glory and canyon domination. All the cities are along a canyon. Main thoroughfare down the bottom. Usually water, so the highway floats. There's a floating highway in China somewhere. I should do more research on it, but I was intrigued when I saw it. So, floating highway, plus it sort of gives the opportunity to, at one point during a chase scene, everyone could just sort of duck under the highway and hold their breaths until the drones or whatever have passed. So yes, nothing builds tension like holding your breath underwater. Knows anyone who has ever played a Sonic game? I've only played a few Sonic games. I've watched a lot of people play Sonic games. But yes, so hoping Little Bro will become the true chosen one. And, yeah. Use all his fate to take over the canyon, hooray. And, until Little Bro came, Inside Boy was the main hope. He doesn't particularly care. Well, he'll probably put on a bit of show of caring for some cameras, or at least make it out to be a competition, because that's what reality TV loves. But no, he doesn't actually care. He doesn't want to take over the canyons. He's part of the resistance. You didn't hear it from me. That's why he's Inside Boy, as opposed to Outside Boy, who we will meet later. Oh, yes. So, main girl, keep her there, find out how she works. Experiments galore. So, that's going on. Let me just have a quick look over here at my notes. Okay, so main girl wondering if she should try to contact Little Bro somehow. Not really sure how to at this point, but then big thing. Receives? Yes, I before E except after C. Sometimes English is weird. Receives a letter from Little Bro and is told to reply and not arouse any suspicion. So, I'm guessing that's when she gets the letter, it's actually probably when she starts wondering if she should try to alert him that bad things are going down on her end. But I think, she decides against it because, how is she going to actually, raise the alarm when she can't arouse any suspicion in the letters? Because I imagine they're going to be reading them, and she's pretty sensible. She's going to imagine they're reading them. Both of my main characters are sensible. That's a big change for me. The main character I've been working with for the last 4 years is not sensible in the least. It's okay, there's going to be plenty of supporting characters who aren't sensible. We'll still have some fun. And sensible people can still be fun. They're different kinds of sensible, I guess. Little Bro, more practical, sensible, and main girl, she's a dreamer. That's right, I was toying with the idea of calling the book something along the line of Dream Chasers. it sounds not as good when I say it out loud, but I'll keep that in mind. Okay, decides not to raise alarm. Also, because I suppose she doesn't want to bother him. But she doesn't want to cause trouble for him or possibly get him in trouble. Cause trouble for him or possibly get him in trouble. Not quite the same thing. Okay, and I do want it to be just for the sake of moving the story forward. They do have some sort of code which they've used to do secret letters or whatever before. Have a code for ease of story. I know that's cheating a bit, but stories have to move forward, so we're allowed to plant in these little facts. We're allowed to plant them in there, just to keep the story going. But it doesn't use it. I had been wondering at one point, because I didn't mention main girl is still doing as much reading as she possibly can. She loves to read. As much reading as she possibly can to try to raise her fate while she still has time. And so she has an awful lot of random knowledge, which hopefully will come in useful throughout the story. So I had been toying with the idea of her having come across codes and ciphers, but that idea didn't really work because little brother would have no idea what's going on. He wouldn't know. So yes, we need something that they both know already. A little cheating hurt no one. No. I'll try not to cheat too much. Okay. So, what happens next? Okay, the letter's a big event. So, little bro, I do need more of a major event with little bro. So maybe this is when filming of new recruits starts. So lots of reality TV, so they're all just being almost constantly filmed by their own little team of drones. So, and they probably have various instances where they're all gathered together for drama. So they're all just pretty much being pitted against each other in pretty much every way they can be. Mostly education at this point, but probably athletic-y stuff too. I'm probably going into way too much detail right now. Oh dear, maybe I shouldn't do chapter by chapter yet and just save that for the detailed planning. How long have I been going? Oh, how long have we been going? An hour already. Given I do feel reasonably not great still. You don't think it would be too terrible of me not to go chapter by chapter tonight? That might be a better idea. Better idea for when we go in more detail later in the week. And possibly make today much less stressful for me. I hope you don't mind. Sorry for the change of plans. Sorry for that. I think sticking with how we're going right now might make more sense. And then, yes, chapter by chapter later. I could even do, basic chapter and then throw in as much detail as I can, because I did want the later ones to be quite detailed, as in, notes of the entire chapter, if I can pull it off. So yes, maybe chapter by chapter later in the week, and just do very simple bullet points for everything that happens in that chapter, and then as detailed as possible. That might work. It's fine. Thank you for being understanding. I know I set the rules, but when I set the rules I don't like to change them because I set them for a reason. Okay. Thank you for staying around and listening to me ramble for so long. Again, I hope it's mildly entertaining. Okay. Yes, contents of my head being put on full display. Oh dear, no wonder it's a mess. Okay, filming of the new recruits starts. Okay, where am I? Filming of the new recruits starts. We need, peer interactions. Oh dear. Just so we start to get to know not just Inside Boy and a few of his friends more, but a few of the kids. A few of the kids that little bro's gonna be apparently spending the rest of his life with. And they all thrown in together and expected to get along on the inside and create drama on camera, sort of thing. They're probably getting a fair amount of instruction on how to behave for the cameras. I mean, no reality TV is truly reality, is it? That's kind of the point, I guess. Okay, let's go back to Main Girl. I'm sorry if it's a little bit of a disconnected feeling not having names to put to them yet, but I do want to get names with the language generation program. I suppose if we're not going chapter by chapter tonight, hopefully we will have time to try to make a language. I've spent so much time on that language generator just trying to get the perfect language that I'm after. Nothing exists along those lines. Languages are so silly, but they can be beautiful. They are beautiful. So I'd like to make one that's beautiful. This is far more interesting than listening to the same old music like I would do around 3 hours while finishing work. Thank you. I'm glad I can top that. Hopefully I can continue to do that. I'm sure you've got wonderful music taste. Music is wonderful. I haven't talked about music yet, have I? Because focusing on writing. I do sing. I love to sing. I don't sing as much as I used to. I don't do anything I love as much as I used to, clearly. But yes, so hopefully karaoke will be a thing that'll start happening. And original songs and covers are a big VTuber thing, but given I am both indie and reasonably incompetent in all aspects of life, covers and originals might be difficult, but we can make that a goal. We can talk more about that later maybe, but yes, unarchived karaokes can be a thing. I'd love to sing for you, one time. I think I'd have to do a few practice streams of singing to make sure that my setup works for it. Thankfully I do have an adjustable desk, so I'll be able to stand to sing. I cannot sit and sing. The diaphragm doth protest at sitting and singing. Oh yeah. Tangent, where are we? Catch the tangent. Lock it away. Not right now. We've got an outline to get through. Sorry, I did that. That's my fault. Okay, Main Girl. More experiments! Oh dear. That is a bit of a recurring theme throughout a lot of my books. Lots of people whose bodies unintentionally do interesting things, therefore must research. Must research. I suppose it's just the logical thing I see happening if anyone shows up able to do interesting things. It's to find out how, and then reproduce it, and market it, and make a ridiculous amount of money. It's just, yeah, that seems like that's what would happen. If anyone showed up being truly telekinetic in the world, I'm sure within a few days they'd be either kidnapped and taken to a secret research facility, or, put on a research facility's payroll and experimented on. Yeah. If I finish all my stuff, you're going to see that popping up a fair bit. What did I say about being terrible to my characters? Oh well. Authors have to have calling cards. I'll probably talk about that at one point. There's a few things that pop up a lot. Another one is color coding. Haven't seen the color coding pop up in this one. Maybe it won't, but in a lot of my other stories, color coding is big. Also, just sibling relationships. I adore writing siblings. They feature in just about every one of my stories. Maybe it's because I do have a fair number of siblings, but there's just something so much more appealing about sibling relationships, and maybe I'm just looking at the wrong things, but they don't seem to be explored in great detail in the media, particularly adult siblings. We need more adult sibling relationships. Give us more adult sibling relationships. I know these two are kids, but main girl at least, she's 18. She almost counts as an adult. Okay. Experimentation. Ah, more, nasty. Nasty little red squiggly line making me sad. Experimentation? Experimentation. There we are. Continues. Oh dear, where are we? My note just says, becomes unpleasant. Yeah, I'll try not to go into too much unpleasant detail with experimentation, because it's nasty. I'll probably just do, one bout of it and then either just show beginning or the end or the aftermath. It's unpleasant. It takes up time. Let's just give a general idea of what's going on and move on. Okay, and so a particular researcher. There is one researcher who will be more of an antagonist. I suppose mainly with this story, it's the system itself that's the main antagonist, and the system has several faces, which will be the faces of the antagonist. And so this researcher is one of them. Yeah, I haven't gone into much detail with her yet. I kind of like the idea of her being just a little bit flamboyant, sort of left over from lots of days on reality TV. And not everyone's like that, but that was her persona, and she's stuck to it. But yes, rather nasty individual. She drops the hint. There, need to say who. Researcher drops the hint that main girl is never going to be released, because again, cannot have this fate eater wandering around. Not good for business. And yes, side note, she's very isolated during all this. All the researchers are probably in full body protection suits, sort of thing. I think they must have found that there needs to be, the fate particles need to travel, and I'm guessing at the moment they're not getting through this somehow. I probably don't need to go into much detail about that, because it's not like main girl's gonna understand. Let's just assume they can prevent the fate particles from entering the suits. Sorry if that's lazy. Maybe inside boy or outside boy can have a bit of a ramble about fate particles and science and technology at one point. But again, it's my world, and it only has to make sense in my head. Kind of? No, that doesn't work. What I say goes, but what I say to semi-make sense at least. Okay. Moving on. Let's go. Never gonna be released. Where are we? no, where are we? Okay, and so at this point, decides to alert little bro. She probably feels bad or selfish about it, but, you know, she's about to be locked away for the rest of her life. Not fun. So, decides to alert little brother that bad things are happening. And so she can start layering their code through the letter. Do I have to think about how the code actually works, or will people be upset if I just did that, or do I have to go into it and actually think of something? Let the readers get an insight into what's in your mind. Yeah, along those lines. Okay, so back with little brother. Okay, so more with schooling, because schooling and peer interaction is pretty much all his life now, including the physical education aspect, expected to be athlete sort of thing. Let's make it so little bro is also not very athletically inclined. It's just not his thing. Neither are academics, so he's having a terrible time. But there's probably a lot of dissonance, because I think he's probably getting absolutely showered with praise and encouragement and being told how wonderful he is, but yet still not doing great. Yeah. Oh dear, where are we? Okay, so at this point, I don't think he would have received a letter with the code. So, did I go somewhere? Oh yes, I'd thought of something for for his peers and interacting with peers after a filming of something. And some of them just talking about how to spend some spare time coming up, and them deciding that, yeah, let's go out and buy a bunch of property and jack up the rental prices. Because, yeah, the normal people aren't allowed to own property or businesses or anything. And yes, one thing I didn't mention, from the instant little brother got picked up, started receiving a disgusting salary for having a high fate count. And so these kids are just going off and buying up the city and doing what they want. And little brother is, reasonably disturbed by this behavior. I think the ones talking along these lines are kids that were actually picked up quite early, so they've been in the system for a long time. I think all the ones who were picked up at the same time as him will probably be similarly unnerved by this, and not think that in a year's time they're probably going to be talking exactly the same way. Okay, but this gives little brother the thought. Can he buy his family's rental property and, lower the rent to nothing? Because, I didn't mention, but it will be littered throughout earlier, that having serious difficulties paying the rent. So he thinks of this, would love to do it. He goes to try to buy the home and finds out there's no current tenants. Oh dear. Where has his family gone? Oh, side note, grandparent has been arrested. That's probably important. Yes, arrested for something stupid, like, no, not accidentally, but for raising their fate in some way to Probably just to try to find a way to make a bit more money. Yeah. Illegally raising fate. Because you cannot have unchecked fate running around. Because anything could happen. The government wants to control all fate and point it in their direction. Yes. If people with high fate are going to affect the world one way or the other, best have it affect it in the way the government wants them to. Hence, treating them like royalty and skewing their education the government's way. Not that anyone else is getting an education, but still, the point stands. Okay, no current tenants. This worries him. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope this isn't sounding boring so far. I'm just worried. There's stuff happening, I promise. It seems silly to go into too much detail right now because it's not major events. It's important for the characters and for world building, but not for the plot as such. Okay, worried. Goes to IB for help because they're becoming reasonably close, or as close as IB really gets to people. He's has a little difficulty with relationships. He still has plenty of friends, and people like him, and he likes people. It's just on a slightly different brain level. Not intelligence-wise, just functioning-wise. Probably on the spectrum, most likely. Okay, and goes to Inside Boy IB for help. Okay. And I'm guessing, not guessing, I know. IB looks at letters. That means the code has been in, and just that the code would have been in letters that little brother's gotten at that point. He just hasn't picked up on it. I'm guessing because he's stressed. Anyway, hasn't picked up on it. But you can bet that IB will, because he's very clever. So he can figure out that code. Will that work? Unless it was something they made up. So they didn't. So they kind of made it up. It's something that main girl would have found and taught to little brother. Something simple. Something simple. But IB will figure it out. Okay, back with main girl. IB comes to see main girl. Okay, so Inside Boy figures everything out fairly quickly, infiltrates the research program, inserts himself into all this. So sorry, I'm just listening out for the small one. I thought I heard her there. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Okay. And so, Inside Boy now knows pretty much everything that's going on. He's made himself a part of the program. Comes to see the main girl. And, yeah. This is probably where it all comes out, that Inside Boy is a part of an inside resistance. And so, this resistance would have a great interest in main girl as well. Probably because they're wondering if she could possibly ever figure out how to actively harness her fate eating or increase it or direct it at particular individuals. Wondering if she could ever learn to control it in some sort of way. Because, yes, that would help the resistance. If they could lower the fate of everyone in the government, it will make it a lot easier for them to sort of, resist. I'm sure it makes more sense in my head. They think she could be very useful, And plus, you know, they're nice people. They don't want her to be locked away forever. So start trying to plan an escape, get her out of the city, get her into the company and protection of Outside Boy, who we'll get to know later, but just for ease, we'll say he is also a chosen one of quite high fate from another city who ran away. He left. Various reasons. No need to get into them now. That's for later. But anyway, he is the Resistance's contact on the outside. So very useful. He can look after her. Let's help her escape. Okay, so back with little brother. Wants to know what's going on. Ivy isn't saying anything. I don't think he really wants to, probably hasn't even told little brother that he's part of a resistance at this point. And it's probably best not to. I'm not sure how good little brother is at keeping secrets. It would make him too nervous. Yeah, best not to tell him anything. I know main girl knows what's going on, but I kind of, I like having the readers know stuff that some main characters don't. I like it. It's fun. Okay, so we'll probably have little brother try to investigate his family himself because, you know, he doesn't know what's going on. And he's probably gonna get into trouble. Sorry, little brother. You're not gonna handle trouble and conflict very well, so this is gonna be even more unpleasant for you. Oh dear. Trouble with his guardian. He's being pushed by his guardians and teachers. He's worried about his family. Has a breakdown while filming. I don't think this filming is live, so not live. Although a breakdown live would also be definitely be a thing. So let's pop him in hospital for a short time, just to recover. Visit from, this is probably going to be the biggest antagonist face. Let's just call him, I'm not even going to be able to spell it, politician. So, not sure if this politician is the highest ranked one in this city. Just for the sake of grandeur, maybe. Let's just go with that. Okay, visit from politician. I haven't quite decided what they're going to be talking about. I was wondering if they were going to do a special show just for little brother. Special show? Yeah. They kind of need more happening here. That's not just going to school and talking with peers. So, and pretty much, you know, they're constantly filming. Oh, I was wondering vaguely about some sort of, you know, like school sports carnivals, things like that. Sports carnival? I don't know. Or maybe that can come into it later. Or maybe, you know, wanting him to do well at the sports carnival or something. This is fluid, we can change anything we want later. This is just basic stuff. How long have we been going? Goodness me, an hour and a half already. It's almost 11 where I am. We're not even through part 1 yet. There'll probably be not nearly as much detail with part 2 and 3, because I haven't thought about them nearly as much yet. Probably not going to reach them during Nano anyway. But let's keep going. Okay. We can do this. Okay. Let's just add on here. We can have the politician promise to look into his family. Liar! We know that. But little brother is probably very trusting and needs to trust the adults around him right now. And this politician is probably very trustworthy seeming. You know, less, not particularly sleazy looking on the outside, or sleazy seeming. Oh dearie me, oh dearie me. Ah! What's going on? What did I do? Sorry. It's just my mouse messing up. I think it needs new batteries. Why didn't I change them last night? A similar thing was happening yesterday. I really should have changed them. Okay. Boop-a-doop, boop, boop, boop-a-doop, boop, 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 boop. There we are. Okay, so back with main girl. Okay. So she probably can't really do much to prepare for escape. But, you know, waiting for escape. I'll think of something for her to do. She's probably watching a lot of TV. Watching Bro on TV? Yeah, I'll give her a TV. Why not? My only note says, told about a nasty. It's so informative. Well, anyway, told about a nasty. So, already going to be locked away forever. What else can they do to her? I'm sure I can think of something horrific, which, you know, shows more and more what a terrible person I am. Okay, told about a nasty. Let's not think about that too much, but let's get this escape going soon, please. Okay, little bro. So, either the show about little bro or the sports carnival, whatever we decide to use. Big show event. Use as cover for escape plans. Yay! And then main girl. So, inside boy causes the big nasty to be aborted. Thank you, inside boy. And escape into the canyon. Okay, there is one important character I haven't mentioned yet, because, again, to this point, not huge for the plot, but main girl's best friend. She is in it quite a lot at the beginning, and she will assist in the escape. Best friend assists with escape. Because, best friend, actually part of resistance within Lower City. I've got to stop calling it Lower City. You don't mind if I keep calling it that until I think of something better? I don't know, I just slipped out initially and I've stuck with it. It's not something I want to stick with in the long term, but for now, while planning, let's go with that. Okay, so yes, best friend, part of the city resistance. They have to be pretty careful because any resistance activity would definitely raise their fate, which could be caught because, you know, there's patrols doing random checks sometimes. So they've got to be careful. There'll probably be something when, you know, a decade ago, 20 years ago, there was a city resistance that was crushed fairly ruthlessly. But, yeah, they're having to be careful. I think they'll have ties with the inside resistance. Names can come later. Yes. Yes, they will. Best friend, I'll make sure she has a wonderful name. Best friend is a good creature. A good creature. She's a bit louder. She's a bit louder than the other two. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh dear. I'm so sorry to do this to us, but I think I've just got to run to the bathroom. You don't mind? We can pop across to the Be Right Back's screen for just a moment. Okay, I will be right back. I'm so sorry. Oh dear. Oh, I'll probably, if we're not done by midnight, I'm probably going to have to call it. But we've still got an hour. I'm feeling a little bit better, so I'm guessing painkillers have kicked in. But yes, just have to go very quickly to the toilet. So sorry. Let's be right back. Hello, sorry. I just realized I've been doing the outline this entire time with the opening music still playing. Whoops. I was wondering why was there no music playing when I swapped to Be Right Back. But yes, popped the correct music on now. Just means there's going to be a slight unpleasant overlap in music for a moment. Sorry, just hearing something a little strange in here. Oh, I think it's just something outside the window. Not anything sinister, just probably a bug of some kind. Anyway, there will be a slight music overlap as I change back. But I'll mute the opening music fairly quickly. There we go. Yeah. Are we all good here? Yes. Sorry about that. Off we go. Oh, please let me know if the music is too soft or too loud. Yes, it's a moth. It's a moth. It's three moths. Sorry. I was wondering what this fluttering is. It's just moths. We're good. We're good. Nothing sinister here. So yes, I was talking about the resistance. Yes. So the city resistance has probably teamed up somewhat with the inner resistance. So the inner resistance can handle, most of the planning to just try to protect the city resistance. It's just more sort of getting people together ready to go when the time comes. I suppose it's not great seeing most of the resistance coming from within the system and the people not being able to fight back like that. But with the fate particles, it's not safe for them to do anything that raises their fate, which planning resistance definitely would. So, that's what would have gone wrong the previous attempt. But anyway, best friend is involved very, very involved. And so would have been contacted by Inside Boy and helped with the escape. And so, yeah, we'll figure out the how of the escape. I'll definitely have to do some of it because escapes are exciting, but might just get them to a certain point and then scene jump and have them somewhere in the canyon. Oop, hold up, sorry. It's better. The previous one was a bit loud and mildly distracting. I'm sorry about that. Yes, it's because it was the opening music, so it was at opening music level. This is the level the background music is supposed to be at. I'm so sorry about that. I was just brain. Yes, I'll do my best to remember to swap tomorrow. If I forget, feel free to prod me. I know that's not your job, but if you think of it, please do. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so this would pretty much be the end of part 1, so a couple of spaces there. Okay, so this is where I'm probably going to start to fall apart a little bit because I haven't done nearly as much, proper planning in order, figuring out what's going to be happening. I've got a lot of random notes just scattered across a bunch of things. Hold on, what's this? More thoughts. That's not the right one. Rough events. Let's have a look here. Ooh, I think it would be sensible to mute the mic when going away. PC, just a thought. Yes, probably a very good idea. I think I got to the door and hovered. It's like, should I mute? It's like, I'm already at the door. And I am too lazy to walk back to my desk. Yes, thank you. I will do my best to remember to mute when we go to be right back and such. I will get better at this. Still just my second one. I'll start to pick up all the tricks. I'll start picking up tricks and I'll be a world-class streamer before you know it. Probably not, but better than I currently am anyway. I actually have a bunch of post-its, well, massive post-its all around my desk. I have the one right above my computer says, if dead air, then hum, repeat what was just said, or admit you're lost and talk through. I also have what's supposed to be my usual greeting up there, just in case. I've got a do not say list. I've got a what to do before I start list. I've got a post-stream procedure. And I've got remember warm-up, water bottle, bunch of other things. I need to be prepared to do things. That's probably why it took me just over a year to actually start streaming, besides the whole anxiety issues. Though I am feeling a bit better at the moment. Thank you. I think you're all helping with that. Thank you for being so wonderful and patient. Oh, so patient. Oh dear. I am looking forward to getting my model and becoming slightly more mobile. Though I am reasonably mobile, either bouncing up and down or swaying back and forth. It's still nice, but I can't wait for the model. I'll probably have to take a while learning how to use it first, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be lovely. Has anyone got a lovely counter going for today? Oh dear. Okay. So, where am I? Well, that's not good. That's not right. Oh dear. Sorry for the quiet. I'm just going through some some notes. Yeah, random note jumping out. Every doctor and researcher with a sister fully suited like she's a biohazard. Oh, and I've got a note here saying that fate areas in her area have been fate particles in her area have been very low for a long time. So I'm guessing she's been affecting the whole neighborhood, which really explains why the neighborhood's in such a bad position at the moment. And she's probably going to realize that and be so guilty, feel so guilty about it. I mean, I think she'll realize fairly quickly it's not her fault, but she'll still feel it. That'll be a hard hit. Oh dear. No, I don't think these notes are going to help me very much. No, these ones are ancient. Well, ancient. These notes are from February. I came up with this idea in February. That's a lot longer ago than I remember. For some reason I thought it was June or something. Okay. More thoughts. These are from September. But none of them are in order. So just I'll just do my best. This is going to be much briefer. Much less detail. Okay. So if we finish with yes, she's a poor thing. I do like the idea that she's sensible enough to realize she couldn't do anything about it, and to realize that, but she will still definitely feel the guilt. Just not in a this is all my fault sort of way, but in a, if I wasn't there, if I weren't there, this wouldn't have happened. Oh dear. I hope I remember that. That's pretty good. Oh dear. I'll try to remember to write that down, or if not, I'll try to remember where are we. What time are we? About an hour and 45 minutes. Okay. I said something vaguely useful at this point. Hopefully I'll remember it. Okay. Thank you. This is good. Talking things out. Talking things out helps. Talking things out helps. Thank you. Thank you for being my lovely, lovely wall to bounce things off. Okay, so we finished with the main girl chapter, which means we're going to be starting off with little LB, starting off with little brother. Okay, so imagine things are a bit chaotic right now. Chaotic times. Okay, things are chaotic. Government system not happy that she has escaped. And I'm guessing this is when we're going to start seeing IB releasing info about main girl into the city and what she can do. And so more people realizing what she's able to do would probably, allow thoughts of resistance without actually raising their fate particle count, maybe. At the very least, raise hope. And the idea that, there are ways to fight back, and she might be it. So she's going to be turned into a bit of a hero figure, which the government will not like. This is what happens in a writer's head when making the story. Or at least in this writer's head. I'm sure most other writers are far more eloquent than I am. Oh well. Okay. So there will be more stuff happening here. Just showing what's going on with the politicians and how they're reacting to news of main girl getting out, and possibly plans of what they're going to do about it, but I'm not sure how much little brother would actually see of that, so probably be more fun to do some gossip between peers. Okay, so back with main girl in canyon with best friend. They have not found outside boy yet. I'm guessing he wasn't at rendezvous. Oh no, I'm going to make myself type rendezvous, aren't I? Oh no. Was not at... I failed. I forgot the Z. Oh dear. Not at rendezvous point. Best friend is not impressed. Best friend is rarely impressed, except by herself and occasionally main girl. She's not big-headed exactly. She is reasonably impressive. But something we have to remember about best friend here is that sort of outside the city, what she can offer reduces a lot. She knows the city really well. She has spent a lot of time learning the ins and outs of the city, learning things that can help them get by in the city. But in the canyon, she is starting to feel a bit more of the helplessness and uselessness, which she does not like. So she probably is a bit testy. I mean, there's also the fact that she, left everything she knows to save her best friend. Very happy that she did it to save her best friend, but the whole leaving everything you know is still a lot, even when you don't like everything you know. It's still a big thing. So we have to... I imagine a lot of people understand where best friend is coming from. But best friend is going to clash a bit with outside boy, so look forward to that. Eventually even with main girl, probably. So I think, yeah, a lot of stuff going on with best friend is gonna pop up in this part. Okay, so they're gonna have to go looking, because they can't just stay where they are. I mean, they're probably hiding in a cave and meant to meet him there, and he's not there. So go looking. I'm guessing it's actually main girl who suggests to go looking. Pretty sure best friend would think the best thing to do is to stay there. Even if she'd want to go looking, I think she'd say the best thing to do is to stay there. I think usually main girl follows best friend's lead, but I think she must be getting a little bit more assertive, and she takes charge a little bit here, which best friend will probably find a bit off-putting and surprising too. I don't think she'd say anything at this point because, she'd probably see it as a good thing that main girl's getting more assertive. But yes, it's a bit of a change, a little bit of growth. Guess, escaping from the clutches of an evil political system and hiding out in a canyon, that does allow for a bit of character growth, I guess. Also, she was never a pushover. She's just quieter than best friend. I'm pretty sure, if any circumstances allowed for it, even before all this happened, that she would have, if she disagreed with best friend, she would have said so. Main girl isn't a pushover. I kind of like the idea as well. A lot of my characters, not the main character I've been primarily working with for the past few years, but most of my other main characters are all quite polite. It's just something I seem to like to do. I like the idea that main girl is polite where politeness is due. As soon as someone loses her respect, she is no longer polite. As opposed to a main character from another story of mine where no matter the situation, if he is impolite, he just feels sick. Poor kid. He's also put in some terrible circumstances because I am a terrible person. Oh dear, I should have breathed before doing that laugh. Almost ran out of breath there. I think I'm tired. Okay, let's get as many main events down as we can here as quickly as possible, and then try to generate an entire language in a couple of minutes. I may tweak it later, but I at least want to show you the process because it's fun. Okay, start. Go looking. We need the story to move along fairly quickly. So probably I don't think I want them to find Outside Boy immediately, but I do want them to find a bunch of travelers. I haven't decided a huge amount about the travelers yet, but they're people who... She develops some edge. Yes, she does. That's a fine way to put it. Yes, travelers. Find travelers going along the lovely floating highway. The water, I'll talk more about that on World Building Day, but it doesn't cover the entire canyon floor, and it doesn't cover it all the time. The edges will probably be dry, and, depth changes back and forth. Okay, so, travelers. I'll figure out more about them later. Meet travelers. Okay. Little bro. I'm not really sure what to happen with little bro. I suppose I'm not going chapter by chapter right now, so let's just assume with little brother throughout the beginning of part 2 is more stuff reacting to escape and spreading of main girl rumors plus other daily life character / world building stuff. I'm not quite sure at this point whether or when little brother should be made aware of resistance stuff. I'm kind of leaning towards him being kept in the dark as long as possible. As long as possible. Sorry, I think that was my stomach rumbling. I hope you didn't hear that. I ate. I did. It's just a little while ago now. With the small one, I tend to eat very early. So afterwards I may have to have a small snack. Oh, speaking of snacks, I'll just have some water. Maybe that'll quiet it down a little bit. Okay. I feel really bad about little brother right now. He's, clearly a main character, but clearly the secondary main character. I'll give him plenty to do. Okay, I've just got something saying my YouTube broadcast isn't stable, so... So things may be getting a bit choppy soon. Apologies for that. We'll see in a minute. I hope everything remains stable. It's been going quite smoothly tonight, which is a bit of a relief. Because I cannot troubleshoot to save my life. Okay. So yes, I'll make sure little brother has plenty to do and plenty going on. It's just that the main plot is being driven by main girl, hence being called main girl instead of big sister. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, so little brother's chapters throughout this, they will be building to a certain point. Something big will happen with little brother soon, but it's not yet. I'm not even sure what really order it is. So let's stop trying to worry about going back and forth with main girl and little brother. Let's just put the big events in. Okay, so they're with the travelers. Seem friendly. Friendly. Not friendly. I'm guessing there's been some sort of memo sent around to the other cities and travelers And there is probably a fair bounty on main girl and best friend's heads. Want to collect. Sweet, sweet bounty. Yay, but guess what? It's Outside Boy. He's here. He helps. So they get away. Get away. Outside Boy is my favorite. Outside Boy's my favorite. So he's got a lookout, doesn't he? He's fun. He's fun. I like him, clearly. But he's here. He helps. Best friend. Unimpressed. Begrudgingly grateful. So, now we're a trio. Often got to have trios. So the main trio of this story, main girl, best friend, and Outside Boy. I feel kind of bad that Outside Boy only comes in around here. It feels like he should get a lot more time. But just looking at things, I think the second and third parts are going to be a bit longer than the first one, so he'll have some fair time. Picking favourites already. I can't help it. I might have a type when it comes to characters. He's slightly more along the lines of my main character from my big project that I've been working on the last few years. He's a lot more competent. Outside Boy is very, very competent, very, very intelligent. He knows it. He's not hugely big-headed. He's just more sort of matter-of-fact about how amazing he is, which I think he pulls it off in a way that's more funny and endearing than annoying, or I'm hoping he does. But yes, he is arrogant to an extent, but in a way that hopefully isn't, infuriating. Yeah. But he's sweet. He's a good kid. I say kid, he's probably he would be Inside Boy's age, I'm pretty sure. So he'd be 18. They're all 18 here. Yeah, managed to avoid the 16-year-old trap that most young adult dystopians tend to fall into. 18 and 12, not 16. Oh dear. I think I wanted to add something at one point during the story saying that most kids with high fate are picked up when they're either 14 or 16. So 16, the dystopian protagonist stereotypical age, and 14, the Chunibyo age. So one of them. Okay. So where are they actually going at the moment? I'm guessing Outside Boy would have a safe zone somewhere. So they've got to travel the canyon to get to the place where they can safely hide. I want them to go through, or have to sneak through at least one city, because you can't really, it's hard to sneak through the canyon. I mean, difficult time traveling, clearly. They're having to stick to the very edges. Should make a note of that. Hard traveling. Sticking to edges. Probably being followed by drones. Or drones trying to find them. I like the idea of Outside Boy can mess with the drones. Oh, something important I didn't mention. Inside Boy is kind of here all the time as well. He's on a constant communications with Outside Boy. So he's sort of keeping that line of conversation going and managing to kind of, have that going while carrying out his normal daily life as well. because I think we need inside boy here. You know, outside boy incredibly competent, but when it comes to general intelligence and knowledge, inside boy probably tops him slightly. And plus, I just want to see more of inside boy and outside boy's relationship, because they're adorable. Yes, lots of outside boy baiting inside boy into irritation because it's fun. We just want more of their relationship. So inside boy is there. That will also be useful later on. Okay, it's not just to show their relationship because I like it. It will have a use. Okay. So I do want them at one point to go through at least one city. So sneak through a city. Yay, that'll be fun. Alrighty. Okay, so probably around this point, something big will happen with little brother, or at least in his area. It's time to meet the hunter. Okay, so the hunter is another quite young chosen one. How old is she? She's probably 19? Similar to sibling rivalry. In some senses, yes. In other senses, a huge resounding no. I think they were, with the reality TV shows, a lot of them are just within the cities, but some of them, they do have intercities ones. And I think the two of them did have competed against each other several times. And I think Outside Boy won the most recent one before he left. So yes, definitely a lot of rivalry going on. And sibling style, but no. Definitely relationship not like siblings. Yes. I don't think I've mentioned, I tend to not lean towards having romance as a main storyline. I'm a fan of having it as subplots, and around these two is maybe where a little bit of romance subplot may pop up, but I want it to be all very understated. And main girl isn't really quick with these sort of things, so she's not going to notice anything's going on. So yeah, I think actually at one point, best friend is probably just looking for more reasons to be cranky because she is so cranky. But I think she's probably gonna, make comments about outside boy hitting on main girl, which he probably does constantly because that's just what he does. He probably hits on best friend too. But yeah, and best friend would probably even comment about, it's more having fun with the trope, poking fun at it more than using it. But, best friend insisting that, there's a love triangle going on here between main girl, inside boy, and outside boy. But no, that's definitely just in her imagination. No. Main girl is probably asexual, because a lot of my main characters tend to be, because that is what I am. And often just having your main characters more along the lines of you, it's helpful. But yes, planning another very small romance subplot, but it's going to be very sweet and wholesome. So, okay, back to the hunter, who is anything but sweet and wholesome. Okay, the hunter wasn't an idea I had until quite recently, because I've been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender for maybe the 4th or 5th time. It is a lovely show. More lovelies. But yes, I just love Zuko so much, and I thought if there was a character here hunting the way Zuko hunted the Avatar, that would be fun. And, not, I must catch a main girl to regain my honor, but have the hunter be in a position where catching main girl would benefit her very greatly. So I'm guessing the hunter is a young chosen one who has sort of fallen from grace. and she's being given the opportunity to, you know, regain her standing. And yeah, I haven't figured out more about that yet. We'll talk more about the hunter doing character profiles. Ooh, hold on, sorry. Some fanfic writers lean a lot into romance. It's nice to make it more of a subplot. Yeah, I've never been hugely into romance. I tend to enjoy it when I read it, but I don't think I would enjoy it if it was the main plot. It's just not my thing. It's just not my thing. I like it when it's, you know, like it's like life. Romance isn't the main thing in life, or I hope it's not. Maybe I'm just ace. I am very ace, but I'm sure even in people who experience romance, it's not the most important thing in life. Is it? Maybe I'm just ace and shouldn't talk about this. I prefer it as a subplot. Okay, so hunter. Charged with hunting main girl, best friend, and outside boy. I don't think they'd know at this point that outside boy is there, because I think there'll probably be a wonderful, lovely fight scene between the hunter and outside boy, where, you know, outside boy takes it seriously but pretends he doesn't take it seriously, and they probably wouldn't have faced each other before because they're slightly different ages, but I think they both would have won their big competitions in their years. So it'll be an interesting face-off. Nowhere near here yet. Not up to that. Let's not talk about that yet. I'm going so slowly. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to go to bed soon. This is ridiculous. Okay, so hunter charged with hunting them. Will hunt. And someone had the bright idea that they will bring little bro with her. So I'm guessing bringing little bro, well, a bargaining chip for one thing if they do find main girl to make her come quietly. Maybe they think little brother might know something that would be useful in looking for her. Also, you know, they're probably going to make a huge show out of this, you know. This girl, the hunter, who has fallen from grace, being given a chance at redemption, bringing along, you know, little bro who will become the world's greatest hero one day, sort of thing. So making a huge show out of the hunt. Huge reality show out of the hunt. And also, of course, inside boy will stick with little bro via communications. So inside boy is with the hunting group and he's with the hunted group. So he's sort of, you know, not quite double agent because, you know, he's with little brother. He's on little brother's side, but, you know, that sort of feel, maybe. It's nice to give inside boy, I wanted to give him something more to do while everything's going on in the canyon, because he's important. He's a lovely character. So let's give inside boy lots to do. Okay, so the hunt. I don't really want to go into a huge amount of detail here right now. There's a hunt. Guessing there's several narrow escapes. Is it here with hiding under the road? I don't know. I'll figure it out. But, you know, hunting, inside boy, helping them stay out of reach. Sorry. I've really only thought about the basics here, haven't I? So, there is a hunt. More exciting stuff will happen, I'm sure. Okay. But at one point during the hunt, I don't think they would have made it to the safe place quite yet, but they'd be close. Very close to a safe place. But then Spanner in the works. MacGuffin time. Here we meet the child. So, the child. Probably about 11 years old. And clearly, looks like she's been on the run for a fair amount of time. Disheveled, dirty, desperate, hungry, poor baby. Main girl's, well, we know she wants to be a teacher and she's a big sister, so very, very must nurture and protect this child. But the big important thing is that on seeing the child, this is the first time that main girl has been entirely without doubt that fate particles are real and measure fate. She always knew the particles are something, but a lot of people don't actually believe it's fate. Believe it's something. It's measuring something, but a lot of people don't believe it's fate. But now she believes it because it's like with this child, the entire world's eyes are on them. That's what it feels like, just looking at her. And they just feel the fate radiating off her. She has probably at least double what little bro has. And so her life has been fairly awful. She is the ultimate protagonist. So just poor kid. And I think, she's being hunted by her own city because she's too dangerous to leave alive, pretty much. And so I'm guessing they elicit this from the child somehow. And I'm guessing they just decide, well, main girl and outside boy decide they have to look after the child. And best friend, she wants to look after the child. She does. But it is just, they will be found. Things happen around people with high fates, and outside boy, he's enough to be around. He's sort of, figured out ways to work his fate to his advantage and have a sort of probability system going on here. If when this much sort of goes right, you're bound to have some protagonist bad luck soon, so we can sort of figure things out and have that many backup plans that something's going to work. He's been doing this for a while. He can work things to his advantage. But this child cannot. So she is definitely not safe to be around. Best friend is convinced they're going to be caught with her. But, she is outvoted. And so, looking after child, probably still trying to get to the safe place. And I'm guessing a few really awful things happen while they're with the child, including terrible weather event. And yes, there's, if best friend clearly does believe in fate, but I think she'd probably still raise the point that things could still be all coincidences, but unlikely at this point. Likely getting the terrible weather event because you were with the ultimate protagonist and things happen to her. Other things of an inconvenient nature because you are traveling with the ultimate protagonist. Sorry, it's kind of meta. It's allowed. It's fun. Okay, so keep in mind, still being hunted at this point. Still being hunted. Sorry, not saying much with little brother. I'll figure out how to do everything from his point of view. It'll work eventually. I'm glad I'm not doing chapter by chapter now. Probably much more sensible to do it later. I should be able to get through the whole first part in one stream. And maybe, 1.5 of the other 2 in the other 3 prep streams. Sorry, I'm floating off here. Floating off a little bit. Oh, how are you doing? You're still doing okay there? Hope you're well. Okay, still being hunted. And being hunted by more than one party, because as we know, people are after the child because she's too dangerous to leave alive. I'm guessing she caused some strife in her city. And you know, she's kind of hard to ignore. Okay, so at one point there's going to be difficulties between the parties, misunderstandings, you know, tempers starting to flare. But I think I don't know exactly how yet, but I want best friend to leave the party at one point. Don't worry, she'll be back before the end. So this is probably going to be quite near to the end of part 2. I do not have very much here for part 2 compared to part 1. I'll figure it out. Well, this is the journey. Stuff happens on journeys. We can make a whole bunch of prompts for cool stuff to happen. Nice and exciting. Stuff that moves the story forward. Besides, we'll have a lot to build up with the hunter's character and Outside Boy's character and poor little brother being dragged on this hunt. And yeah, there'll be plenty to do. There's just not much to put down as big events, really. And I suppose even if it doesn't turn out to be too long, it's a shorter story, which should be good. I hope. I don't want to cheat Outside Boy and the Hunter out of page time there. I think they're good characters. They deserve some fun. Okay, before she leaves the party, we do need them to have a clash. And this is before the child. We do need to have fight between Outside Boy and the Hunter. How do they get away? I don't know. Try to have little bro involved in them getting away. The Hunter, suspicious, but no proof. They're also traveling with the Hunter's lovely guardian, a little Uncle Iroh inspired, because as I said, I've been watching Avatar, and we need some nice people in the system, you know, still letting it go on, but essentially you'd hope a good person. And I'm guessing the Guardian probably is actually part of the Resistance. But I think Guardian knows little bro involved. Was the Guardian involved? We'll find out. Oh dear, goodness me, I am getting hungry now. I have some potatoes. Maybe I could make some air fryer chips. Or French fries. I call them chips. I'm Australian. I call them chips. Oh, goodness me. Okay, so that'll be fun. That's something big that can happen. Could even take up a few chapters. At least 2. Speaking right. 2 chapters of content? Okay. So, that happened there. Best friend to leave the party at one point, or she'll be back in the end. Okay, so get to safe place. It's a cave. But it's a very nice cave. I imagine he's been spending a while outfitting it and making it a lovely headquarters. Lovely headquarters. I forgot where the Q was on the keyboard for a minute. That's very embarrassing. Did I say Q word? Q key, Q letter. Something like that. It's a letter and a key. It's not a word. Okay. We think we're safe. That's our boy. Gets an owie. As in a really bad owie. I'm pretty sure we're talking compound fracture of, which bone is it? Tibia. Tibia? Tibia. Again, tibia. A tibial compound fracture. Ouch. And this, I want this to sort of happen just as they're going through the cave, probably just a rock slip or something. Something, you know, natural-ish. So, terrible owie. Guess who catches up then? The hunter is here! And, you know, what's the word? Captures them. Yay! Yay. But then, as traveling back... Oh, forgot to say, back here, tries to leave the child. Definitely aware of fate levels. Yes, I know, I'm specific with the injury right now. But, yeah, probably should have just said leg, but I didn't want it to be a femoral fracture. That's a bit much. Tibia, lower leg, that's enough. Maybe the fibula as well. Snap them both. I'm generous. Pretty nasty anyway. Sorry, I have studied some anatomy, so I think about these things. Which bone am I going to snap? I'm not wholly evil, I promise. I do my best not to be anyway. Yes, so he's hurt. He's hurt. Traveling back. Specifically the hunter tries to leave the child. Definitely aware of fate levels. You can just feel them radiating off this poor kid. So what happens then? Oh yes, Guardian insists can't leave her. Plus. Little bro is a little infatuated. I spelled it wrong. Of course I did. Infatuated, not infatuated. No C. With the child. So he is 12, she is 11. It's just a cute kid crush that's mutual. I just thought it'd be sweet. And, you know, give him a little bit more to do besides be miserable. He deserves to have a nice little crush. It'll be fun. Except, you know, probably won't. I'm not going to do anything terrible to either of them, as in death. I'll let you know that now. The kids survive. I'm not big on killing off characters unless they absolutely have to be for the story. I like as many people surviving as possible. With my endings, I prefer realistic, as, you know, sort of the best possible position that they could be in, even if it's not 100% happy, but it's the best outcome given the horrific situation. I kind of like, giving them that after they've been through everything I've put them through. Okay, so traveling. The child probably isn't tied up or anything, because maybe the hunter's hoping she'll fall behind, and I don't really think the hunter's hoping that. The hunter is actually a little bit of a softie, of course. Softie at heart. Does not want the child to die. Definitely does not. Would prefer the child not be there because it's very inconvenient, and this really, really ticks the hunter off. But no. Probably agrees in a huff fairly quickly to bring the child along. Okay, as traveling back, encounter assassins trying to kill the child. TC. You weren't lying when you said to make them suffer a little. I'm sorry. If it's ever too much, please let me know. Please let me know. Although, honestly, compared to what I've done to some of my characters, most of the characters in this story are getting off pretty lightly, to tell the truth. My poor main character from my main story, I suppose it won't hurt to say his name. I'm going to be referring to him constantly. His name is Kaz. Kaz is going to go through the ringer. It's going to be a lot. Like, I thought I'd done pretty much everything I could do to a character with a previous one, but nope, Kaz gets it worse. I love him so much. He's my precious darling. Okay, encounter assassins trying to kill the child. And because the assassins are with another city, probably try to strike some deal. But the hunter will not stand for child murder. I probably shouldn't giggle after saying those words, should I? It's fairly terrible. I'm sorry. The hunter will not stand for child murder. That's good. I'd feel worried if anyone did. But the hunter gets in assassin's way. Fight! Oh, I can hear outside boy probably commentating the fight. Little bit of fun here, just to... We need something. Something to lighten this slightly. Remember me saying I don't want it to be too dark? I really don't want it to be too dark. I'll just try to slot something in to help every now and then. Outside boy will be helpful with that. He is in significant pain at this point, by the way. But I'm guessing, they were at the headquarters. He'd be fairly well outfitted. They'd be able to treat it somewhat. But how is he traveling right now? Is he being forced to hobble on a crutch? Probably. Mango will be helping. Oh dear. Okay. So, pretty sure fight interrupted by an alliance between the other 3 cities. And I think the whole mess is carted to the nearest city for detangling. And this is including the child, including the hunter, including outside boy, Mango, little bro. Everyone's just taken to the nearest city and everything's getting sorted out. So that's sort of the end of the hunt. And heading into endgame territory. I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. This is going on so long. Goodness me. At least the connection has remained reasonably steady. Okay, so definitely will not go very deep into endgame here. So, as we know, endgame will have to resolve everything So probably not in any huge order, but main girl sort of locked up again. The child sort of made a ward of all 5 cities. So aiming to look after her, keep her happy, and hopefully nothing terrible will happen. As you know, the other cities as well, most of them do not want to kill children. So trying to find a way to keep her alive. Plus, you know, most of the other cities that probably have the equivalent to dollar signs in their eyes, like she could be their chosen one. So, all trying to outdo each other in gaining the child's favor. Probably better to go into endgame with clear when you're less tired. Yes, you're probably right. Haven't even gotten to generating the language. Might have to do that tomorrow with characters. But it's going to take so long to do the characters. I didn't give myself nearly enough time for this, did I? Suppose I don't think about it when I'm actually writing, how much time stuff takes. Yeah, I'll just try to get just a very, very, very general idea down. So that's the child situation. Whoops. Okay, and so little bro probably being kept quite near the child, though he's probably been a little forgotten. He's not as impressive now, but he definitely can't spell. He doesn't care. He wants to look after the child and his sister. Okay, I probably won't put at any point where best friend comes back, so because I don't know when and how, but she's going to be helping in the end game. It's probably got to be sooner rather than later that she comes back, because I don't want her to be gone for too long. Or maybe it's just the hunt section, because I'm not going to be separating it out in actual parts in the book. So it's probably fine if the hunt section actually does spread out a lot longer, and we just think of a lot of nice journey quest things and more world building, more character building. Oh dear. Just seems like an awful lot of the main plot happens in the first one, and then we're just sort of toddling happily along until endgame. But stuff does happen in the middle. I suppose the middle is often the part people have most trouble with writing. See what happens. So, no particular order. Best friend comes back. Outside boy is to stand trial for leaving and is punished. Probably live on TV. Or whatever their equivalent of TV is. I've just been using TV for ease. And then probably no, it's getting worse. To re-education of some kind. Inside boy scheme to rescue outside boy and main girl too, of course. And probably try to link rescue of outside boy with other rescues. And so inside boy is going to come to this city. I think all of the endgame stuff's going to happen at this city. So inside boy joins at this city. Very good at inserting himself into situations. And yeah, one of the big things with the end game is just messing with the system as much as possible. Like, one standalone book is not enough time to realistically overthrow a system. As I said, I like endings to be the best possible situation, the best possible outcome given the horrific situation. So I at least want them to get a start at overthrowing the system. I'm just gonna deal a good blow. So, dealing a solid blow to the oppressive system. And when I say system, I do mean the one across all of the cities, because they're all very similar. They are sort of, you know, allies on paper, but all very, very backstabby intrigue and espionage between them, clearly. Okay, and so, oh, that's right, somewhere in, this is important, back to the hunt. At one point, just during the traveling, I think I want Outside Boy to give main girl some advice about possibly how to, oh god, for want of a better term, harness her powers. So she'll probably play with that, but maybe not get very far. I think I've got some notes saying Outside Boy, you know, he's not particularly nervous being around main girl. He says he's got plenty of fate to spare. He's good. He's fine. But yes, there's a fair amount of, this is going back again, but best friend doesn't really like Outside Boy very much because he is very useful and helpful out here, whereas she's getting less and less so. So there's jealousy over that. There's jealousy over it feels like he's sort of stealing her best friend away. They're still quite young, remember. They're only 18. They're still going to be hit by these things. I mean, adults are still hit by these things, as far as I've seen. And I think there's also going to be the confusing thing that she's a little bit attracted to him as well, so whoops. Poor best friend. I really want some stuff. There. Why J? No J. Stuff between the hunter and best friend. I've got no idea how, given neither of them are a point of view at any point, but I really want there to be stuff between those two because I think it'd be cool. So we'll have to think about that. So some sort of joint venture. And you know they're going to be at each other's throats the whole time. Okay. Big things with, okay, and so, God, I've just gone off in two different directions and completely lost with both of them. Okay, so, the child is unhappy when she realizes everything happening to main girl and Outside Boy. Stuff starts to hit the fan. And so all at one time, God, this is going to be interesting with only the 2 points of view, but I'll figure it out. I think they'll just have to hear what's going on through communications with Inside Boy for some things. But I really want them to see all the important things, so I'm going to have to get main girl and little bro there somehow. It'll work. We'll make it work. So we've got rescue stuff, rebellion stuff, the child breaking down stuff, all happening at once. I think a big thing I'll need is main girl. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Not comforts. Not controls. Placates? Placate sounds too cold, but that's kind of what I mean. we'll have main girl sort of look after the child and prevent an apocalypse. Pretty much. So, and while this is happening, I had been toying with the idea of actually having them blow a few things up, but I don't think, it just doesn't seem like their style. I want it to be a resistance, but I want it, you know, the ones planning it are all sort of right up there. They've been doing this for a long time. They're figuring it out slowly and carefully. They're in the system itself. So I think there's a way to deal lots of damage without causing any physical damage. I'll figure it out better. I mean, possibly if there's any sort of monuments, if we can get rid of the monuments. And also, I want a huge chunk of chosen ones to leave all at once. Still probably keep a few in the system to grow the ranks again. But I want a lot of them to leave because that will be a huge, huge blow. And yeah, so I'm guessing, you know, finish all together in headquarters. Main girl sort of gets to be a teacher, looking after little bro and the child. Well, teacher and big sister. So she gets a nice little thing where she does get to sort of realize her dream, which is nice. And main girl, more experimentation with her. I hate calling them powers. It's just something her body does, but I kind of like the idea of them having been developed into something she can actually, you know, influence herself. Because I think for something she laments a fair bit is, you know, she's in this situation just because of how she is, what her body is. She wants to sort of do something worthwhile herself, as opposed to just be the kid who eats fate. Oh dear. Plans for the future. How to, you know, get the cities together and out from beneath fate's cruel thumb. Look at me being hideously, terribly poetic. 15 minutes past midnight. Anyway, I'm hoping sort of not finishing with overthrowing the system won't be dissatisfying. It just does seem unrealistic to me. I'll figure out more as we go, clearly, but that's sort of the ending I have in mind right now. And, you know, both romance couples will be together, so that's nice. Best friend will be there. I'm wondering, will many of the people's resistance also break ranks and leave? In which case, how much cave remodeling has Outside Boy been doing? Which also, are there others? There probably are. There's probably a whole team there, but oh dear, there's so much to think about. Okay. Okay. Midnight really lets the poet energy out of writers. Oh dear. Well, hopefully I'll be able to craft this into something readable and fun. As I've said a few times, I doubt it's going to be a particularly impressive or important work, but hopefully it'll still be a good read. And it'll be wonderful writing practice. And, I really hope people would have fun reading it. Oh well, as we go, if you think of anything that you think should be added, or if you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them. Yes, we will see what happens, but I think I'm gonna have to stop soon and get something to eat and go to bed. I don't want to be as tired tomorrow as I am today, although at this point it's looking like I'm going to be pretty tired tomorrow. So anyway, I guess tomorrow we'll be starting with trying to generate a language. Unless you wouldn't mind me just doing that, generating the language on my own time and just showing it to you and showing you what I did. That would just get through it a bit quicker. I'll see how I am tomorrow, because that's something I could probably do while the small one is playing. Because normally I can't write during the day. It's just not a thing that works. But I should be able to use the program to generate a language, and then I can show it to you. That might work a bit better, and that way tomorrow we'll still get into the characters a bit more quickly. Although, given how things went tonight, I'm probably not going to go into too much detail with the characters. Maybe I shouldn't do character interviews. It might just take too long. I suppose there's always the option of doing character interviews after Nano and using that to better shape the next drafts, but we'll see how we go. But I am in the way of thinking that I need to go to sleep, and I have taken up a great deal of your time. Thank you so much for staying with me, and again hoping it's mildly entertaining, listening to the contents of my head spill out onto the screen. Yeah, there was a lot more in my head than what I put on screen. It's just, I'm worried I'm just going to spend too much time typing and not enough time speaking, perhaps. So, yes, I should probably finish up. How many times have I said that now? Okay. I think it's time for me to go and eat and get ready for bed. Make sure the small one's still happy. Possibly give my lovely feline some more pats. She did get some cuddles beforehand, and I'm guessing it was enough to placate her. Oh dear. So, I think that'd be a good idea, doing your own time. Give a quick example of how you did it. I'll do my best. I'll see if I can do that. I should be fine to make the language tomorrow. It might take several generation attempts. One time when I tried to generate a language based on English, it just wound up looking like English nonsense words. So, getting name examples like squick, or I had a really good one time. I forget what it was, but just words that sounds like nonsense English. So I'll have to mess with it a little bit, and I'll tell you how I messed with it. Anyway, shall try to do that tomorrow during the day. Okay, so tomorrow is character day. They will get names, finally. I've had this story with February and I still haven't given them names. So finally names. And get to know them a bit better as characters. And I hope you can look forward to that. But remember, your time is precious. I love having you here. But if you have other things that you need to do, please don't let me keep you from them. I wouldn't want to do that. Remember, there's always the VODs. And even, a few months, half a year after this, there'll even be a book showing showing what we got up to. That'll be lovely. Okay. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I hope you're happy. And I hope the rest of your day or night or morning is a thing of beauty. I hope it is. Okay. Might see you tomorrow. Okay. Jumping across here now.